Welcome back, Double Leg fam. We are less than 24 hours away from the fights, and all the bets are in. We're going to go over them real quick for you guys and tell you why we took them. If you're watching this before it releases to the general public and you're a premium subscription member, drop a subscription down below to the YouTube. Leave a like and a comment. If you're watching this in the aftermath, hopefully we just went 100% and greened it out. But if not, it's 1 week, and we'll always be there the next week. So we'll start with the main event. Alexander Volkanovski and Islam Makhachev. The play I got on this, I think we're both on Makhachev here. I got Makhachev by sub plus 125 for 3/4 of a unit. Makhachev inside the distance, minus 145 for a unit. Makhachev in round 3, Makhachev in round 4. A couple long shot props there. And then I got Makhachev in a parlay with Tyson Pedro for a unit at minus 119. I just think Makhachev is better. She's just a better martial artist. I mean, wrestling is going to be the dominant factor. It's going to be bigger. We just saw him weigh in today, and the guy's massive, barely made the weight. Volk did look a little bit bigger at 155, but it's just not going to be enough. On the feet, I think he can somewhat match Volk. I mean, it's one thing to piece up 145ers, but if you got to piece up almost a 170er, you're gonna have to do a lot more. And Islam can take this fight wherever he wants it, I think, and that's the biggest thing. There's not a clear path for Volk to get a victory. Islam's got more, so I'm on that. Looks like you're on Makhachev as well on the money line.
Yeah, I got him in a parlay
with Pedro,
with Tyson Pedro. Yeah. No, I agree with everything you said, and I think it's going to be one of those things where people throw their money on Alexander Volkanovski because the odds look really good. I think after the fight, it's going to be kind of like, wow, I just threw that money away. Like you said, man, the weigh-ins, the face-offs, Islam looks so much bigger. I don't think a lot of people realize the size discrepancies between 145ers and big 155ers, because Volk's not like a huge 145er by any means, and Islam is a big 155er. So yeah, I think Volk's in over his head just a little bit. And Islam, man, most disciplined fighter maybe on the UFC roster. I think he gets it done. I like him in a parlay. Money line's a little pricey, but I honestly, I think you could make some money on it. I think it's a pretty safe bet tomorrow.
Yeah, and I'll admit I was one of those guys that was like, Volkanovski at plus 300, plus 350. You have to throw something on that, but just looking at it now, it's just don't see a path. It's just not a path there.
Yep.
Next fight, Josh Emmett, Yair Rodriguez. We're both on it, Josh Emmett, so we agree on that one. I got Josh Emmett for a unit at plus 152 on the money line, and I got a little sprinkle, a quarter unit on Emmett by decision. Same thing here. I think he's just got more paths to victory, more tools to win in the fight. If he chooses to use them, that's kind of a big if, but at the plus money, I'm down to take that risk. We talked about it on the preview show. We thought it could probably be, close to a pick 'em. So we think that, then there's obviously value on the dog, and that's why we took it.
Yeah, no, exactly. There is value there. And especially over plus 150 for a guy like Josh Emmett, who's 18-2, I had to do it. Even though I like Yair, I think Yair, like you said, it should be a pick 'em fight. Yair could very well win this fight. But if Emmett can implement the wrestling, I mean, if he goes out there with that game plan, and I think he probably will because it's for a belt, I like him there. And at any point, he can also catch Yair on the feet. The dude has a ton of knockdowns. He's powerful. He's big and strong. So, I think more value is on Josh Emmett in this fight. So I took him for a half unit.
Yeah, I think he has to win it too. He's 37, so it's
right
times now, as you said before. Jack Della Maddalena, Randy Brown. This one, I couldn't get to Jack Della Maddalena on the money line or by KO because I think there was like slightly chalk money on KO, but I went with the fight doesn't complete 2 rounds at -120 for 3/4 of a unit. I wanted to get to Randy Brown as an underdog. I didn't end up doing it just because Jack Della has such pressure on the feet that if he keeps that pressure, I think he'll be able to get on the inside. But I did sprinkle a little on Randy Brown at, by sub at +800 for 1/4 of a unit in case the fight hits the ground and he snatches something up. I think if it does hit the ground, he's going to have the advantage. And at +800, I got to sprinkle a little something on that. So those are my plays. You got anything on this one? Looks like you got the under.
Yeah, I like the under just because, dude, Jack is such a good boxer. Randy Brown's dangerous on the feet and, like you said, on the ground, he could snatch something up. The pressure from Jack, I think, is going to be key here, and I think he can get the finish. Randy Brown, obviously, always dangerous. I think the under 2.5 is live for sure. I like it.
You got Jack Della in a parlay as well.
Yep, just a smaller unit parlay. Just, I think he should win, and I think there's a good enough chance he does. But I didn't want to deploy a bunch of money out on him, single handedly. I just wanted to put him in a parlay. I think it's a good spot for him.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. I almost put him in a parlay. That crowd's gonna be behind him too.
Oh yeah,
I was just watching the ceremonial weigh-ins, and that crowd went crazy.
They're gonna be cracking with that energy in there.
Yeah,
we're gonna see some knockouts tomorrow
for sure. Parker Porter, Justin Tafa. I went with Parker Porter on the money line at +110 for a half a unit. Reasoning behind that, you look at who they fought. They both fought pretty much the bottom of the barrel of the heavyweight division, except Parker Porter won those fights. Justin Tafa lost a couple of them. Parker Porter's only losses in the UFC are to Jailton Almeida and Chris Daukaus. As much as we hate on Chris Daukaus, like, he's still a top 10, top 15 heavyweight. And Justin Tafa hasn't fought that kind of competition. He is going to be in his home country, but I thought Parker Porter should still be favored here. He's a slight dog, so I threw a half unit on it at +110. Didn't want to get too invested, but took it anyway.
Yeah, I couldn't get to either side. I do think, though, Parker Porter would be the right play just because if he gets it to the ground, I don't think that Justin Tafa is going to get up from under him. I really don't. I think Parker Porter is good enough on the ground that he could grind out a decision victory, maybe a finish. But yeah, I think you're on the right side there.
Yeah, both guys get hit a lot. Parker Porter, I think, has more tools. May not have the finishing ability that Tafa does, but he's got more tools to take it where he wants to.
Right.
Jimmy Crute, Alonzo Menifield. This one was tough. I kind of went back and forth the whole week. Menifield was like a pretty big dog coming into the week, almost like +2. He was like +220 or +212 back like last Sunday. And then when we did the show, he was about +190, somewhere around there. And then he got down to like +170, +160. So money started coming in on Menifield, and that kind of scared me off of it. So I ended up going with Jimmy Crute. After a second look, Jimmy Crute has fought his past 2 fights are against, the top of the heavyweight division. Jamal Hill, Anthony Smith. Yes, he got 2 losses, but look at Alonzo Menifield, who he fought over his past couple of fights, his 2 wins. Misha Serkinov, who offers pretty much nothing on the feet, and Askar Mozarov, who was making his debut. So, I mean, you're a guy coming off 2 first-round knockout wins, and Jimmy Crute coming off 2 losses. You're probably going to get a lot more value on Jimmy Crute as far as recency bias goes. So I went with Jimmy Crute inside the distance at -110 for a half unit, and Crute by sub at +250 for a 1/4 of a unit. So I didn't get too invested, but I do think Crute wins, and he does probably get it done inside the distance, and I think it could be by sub.
Yeah.
The only other play I got on that is under 2.5 in a parlay with under 2.5 of a different fight we'll talk about later.
Yep. I think it does end somewhat early, and I'm on Alonzo Minifield, not for not because I think he's a better fighter, but because I think he's super dangerous on the feet and he's always live for a knockout. Because if you look at him, I mean, the dude's a freak of nature. He's a monster. He holds a ton of power, gets a little bit wild sometimes, but sometimes that pays off when you can catch a right hook or sit somebody down with that and jump on top and finish the fight. So I'm taking him for a half unit as an underdog because I like those odds for a guy who has that kind of finishing ability and that much power on the feet. And I don't think it's a bad idea if you do think Alonzo wins to put something on it by in the first or second round. I mean, the odds in the first round by knockouts like plus 650, plus 700. And for in the second round is a little bit better than that. It's like plus 850, plus 900. So if you are on Alonzo and you think he gets the knockout, I do think it's in the first round or the second round. I am playing him on the money line. I just like the chance for a KO here, but it's not one of my more high confident plays. So if you are tailing that, don't throw the house on it.
Yeah, looks like you got it for a half unit.
Yeah.
Tyson Pedro, Modestas Bukauskas. We're both big on Pedro this week. Honestly, I just couldn't even believe the price. I thought from what I heard, he was like opened super high, like minus 1,000 on some books, offshore books, and then came all the way down to like minus 220. So I don't know, man. Like this just seems like a great price. Maybe it's too good to be true, and we get stumped. But I took Pedro inside the distance minus 105 for a unit. And then I got Pedro in the parlay with Makhachev, and I got the under 2.5 in the Pedro fight paired with the under 2.5 in the Crute fight. That's the parlay. Plus 105 for a half unit. Just think he's better on the feet, better on the ground, better anywhere it goes, and he's a finisher too. So take him inside the distance.
It's going to have that crowd behind him too.
That's true.
And I really, I think Tyson Pedro is the way better fighter. But another aspect that makes me hammer him this week, which I'm doing, is that the UFC likes to get behind these guys they can market like crazy, they can make money off of. And Tyson Pedro is one of those guys. He's got the look, he's got the fan base behind him back in Australia. So yeah, no, I love Tyson Pedro here. His opponent lost 3 in a row in the UFC, was cut, went to Cage Warriors, got some okay wins, and now he's back for this fight. It just seems like the UFC's setting Pedro up for another win here. And I got to back with the guy the UFC wants to win. So, yeah, Tyson Pedro, I'm hammering on the money line, and I'm also going to sprinkle on him to win by KO as well.
Yeah, you got 2.5 units on the money line and 1/4 of a unit on KO. So,
oh yeah, we're gonna rip it.
We're liking that.
I like the chance to hit both those, and we'll be up good for the night. Yeah, going into that, I like it.
A great way to go into the main card there.
Oh yeah.
Melsik Bagdasaryan and Josh Kulabau, a weird one here. We both kind of kept our eye on it throughout the week as far as the money goes. 75% of the money is on Josh Kulabau at the moment, what I'm looking at right now, at minus 110 and minus 110. So if Bagdasaryan wins, Vegas is eaten. And if Kulabau wins, they're going to have to be paying up. So ultimately, I went with Bagdasaryan on the money line at minus 110 for 3/4 of a unit. And then I also sprinkled 1/4 of a unit on Bagdasaryan by KO. He's got power. And if he gets it done, if it goes to decision in Australia, I'm going to be, clenching my cheeks a little bit there at even though it's minus 110. But I think if he gets it done, and you've watched the ceremony weigh-ins tonight, he grabbed him by the throat and chucked him. So he's coming out there to kill. And at plus 300, I like it. There's enough value there for me to take it. So those are my plays on there. Did you end up making anything on this one?
Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with him for a unit based off the analytics and the, siding with Vegas here. It looks like a little bit of money's coming in on him. That makes me feel a little bit better. Last minute money coming in on a fighter where the line shifts a little bit isn't the worst thing in my opinion. I do think the odds swaying in his favor this late tells me that I got him at a decent price. Because he is now the favorite, right? I believe. I believe he
Yeah,
shifted to
he
slight favorite. It
was.
was
Yeah,
Pick'em.
he was slight favorite, and then he was like -115. And now I think he's back to -110.
Okay, so it's just kind of bumping up and down a little bit. But yeah, I'm gonna side with Vegas here. Should be a super close fight, in my opinion. Both guys seem like they're equal, like in all aspects. So Bagdasarian, though, I think he'll come out there with the killer instinct, like you said, and let's hope he gets it done.
Let's hope. Should be a fun fight though. Either
Oh
way.
yeah.
Clayton Rodriguez, who missed weight by 1 pound, taking on Shannon Ross. I don't have anything on this fight. I don't believe. I wanted to get one way. I wanted to take Shannon Ross at plus money, but I think Clayton is good enough that he just doesn't lose. Like Shannon Ross really hasn't showed me much, Like
Yeah.
he got into the UFC being 1-2 in his last 3 fights, so I don't know how that really happens. Clayton Rodriguez doesn't impress me too much to really want to back him, and all the money is on him too.
Yeah.
91% of the money. So I don't know. I mean, I just couldn't get anywhere on this fight. Were you able to?
Check for me.
I don't think you were.
No, because
you had a Rodriguez round 3 sub.
Yeah, for just a tiny fraction of a
Yeah.
of a play. Just I like the later submission from Rodriguez just because we saw how tough Shannon Ross is. I mean, on the contenders, I think that's like his one thing that people cling to is he's tougher than nails. Fought on the Contender Series after having the whole appendix deal a few days before, got knocked out like 3 times in that fight and kept going. So I think if Clayton can, beat him up for a couple rounds in that 3rd round, maybe get a knockdown, club and sub, something like that. Because Rodriguez does have a little bit of a submission game, so that's just a sprinkle, like a fraction of a unit on that play. So yeah, hopefully that hits. That'll be a good one.
Plus 2,600. So
oh yeah,
we'd love to hit those.
So not confident, but there's
for
a chance.
A 20th of a unit on that.
Yeah.
Jamie Malarkey, Francisco Prado. I got the under 2.5 rounds here. I think both guys are very, very aggressive. Francisco, his chin looks pretty big and could be tough to crack, but I like the violence in this one. Under 2.5 rounds for -155 for a unit. And then I wasn't really high on Jamie Malarkey. I mean, he gets hit, and I just don't trust the way he fights. He fights aggressive. And with Prado coming in here undefeated and all finishes, I had to sprinkle a little on him inside the distance, plus 325 for a quarter of a unit. And it looks like you got
I got the under 2.5 as well.
Yep, you got the under 2.5 for
love that play.
3/4 of a unit, and then you got Francisco Prado by round 1 KO for 1/10 of a unit at plus 1,100, or round 2 KO for 1/10 of a unit at plus 1,700. So looks like we're on the same page there.
Yeah, and like if you're wondering still about the whole unit system, so like if a unit is $100 and he's saying I'm putting 1/10 of a unit, just $10. But the odds are ridiculously long. So if I think round 2 is like plus 1,700, so it'd be like 1/10 of a unit would win $170 basically. So, but yeah, no, this fight screams violence. I think Prado could come in there. I think he could put the lights off. I mean, I really do. The dude's a finisher. Making his debut, has got a lot to prove. I do love that under 2.5 though.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't really have much to lose other than his undefeated record.
Yeah.
The only thing that kind of scares me, he's a young guy coming into a big arena, making his debut. The lights could get to him with the crowd being on Malarkey, but
we saw it with Bruno Ferreira a few weeks ago against RoboCop. I mean, he came in there, similar situation, fighting Gregory Rodriguez, who a bunch of people were high on, and he just shut the lights off in the first round. I'm hoping we get the same story here, honestly.
Yeah, that'd be great. Jack Jenkins and Don Shainis. The only play I got on this one is on Prize Picks. I got Jack Jenkins over 2 takedowns, paired with another one we'll talk about later. Yeah, I think that's the only one I got in there. I couldn't get to Jack Jenkins at the price. I do think he wins, but with the money split was pretty heavy on Jack Jenkins, 93%. So I didn't really like that. Don Chanis does have a wrestling background, so I don't know if he starts getting takedowns on Jack Jenkins. I'm not liking that, but for you, looks like you got Jack Jenkins by KO or sub.
Yeah, a little double chance there.
Double chance.
Yeah, because I mean, I just think we've seen him in fights, bang on the feet. When he has to use some wrestling and grappling, he will. But I basically took the double chance just to kind of cover my ass in case some reason he does get a submission, and to bring that price down on him lower, because I don't think this fight goes to a decision. I just don't. So
yeah, you
Jack Jenkins, double chance.
You got him in the parlay as well.
Yeah, on the money line in that parlay with
Loma and Jack Della. Speaking of Loma Luke Bume and Elise Reed.
Oh, I love Loma.
You do. You're a big Loma girl. Or Loma guy, I should say. Loma, you got Loma on the money line at minus 280 for 2 units, and Loma by decision minus 120 for half a unit, and the parlay. So that's your greasy women's.
That's fight. My lock of the night.
That's your lock.
Yeah. Locking on a women's MMA.
Hell fight.
Yeah. No, Loma. Every fight that I've played her, she's done me well. Elise Reed just doesn't do it for me in any aspect of mixed martial arts. I know she's supposedly a damn good striker, but Loma's world class in the Muay Thai department. She's got a ground game, grappling, her wrestling. She can do what she needs to up against the cage. I just think anywhere this fight goes, Loma's going to be the better fighter. And I think she just grinds it out and beats her up for 3 rounds, gets a decision win, and we're going to win some money.
Fair enough.
God, I hope I'm not wrong.
Fair enough. The only play I got on that is Luke Bume by decision in a not quite a long shot parlay, but kind of a fun parlay. I put in there a 1/10 of a unit. I got Makhachev inside the distance, Pedro inside the distance, Crute inside the distance, and Luke Bume by decision for plus 909 for a 1/10 of a unit. That's the long shot, the fun play there. Blake Builder, Shane Young. The only play I got on this one is Shane Young under 1.5 takedowns on Prize Picks. Pair that with over 2 takedowns on Jack Jenkins. That's the power play of the week. Plus or 3x in our money there on Prize Picks. And I couldn't get to either side because looking at Blake Builder though today, he looks pretty good, but Shane Young, I don't know. I wanted to get to Shane Young all week because I figured Blake Builder would be a pretty popular dog this week, but I just couldn't do it. Looking at the money right now, there's 58% of the money on Blake Builder, so it's nothing too crazy, but slightly more money on the dog there. Yeah, I just don't really like either fighter too much. You got Blake Builder though, plus 118, 3/4 of a unit.
Yeah, I just had to if he was a dog. Let's see. Shane Young, he's city kickboxing guy, but he just doesn't impress me in any fight he's in. He really doesn't. And Blake Builder loves to take the back of guys. I can see him doing that too many times to just wear Shane Young out. And either Blake Builder getting a sub, and then on the feet, I've seen him get hurt and then pop right back up and take somebody's back. So, he's tough as well. But I just don't think Shane Young is going to hit him with a bunch of, I want to say volume. I know Shane Young has a decent volume, but I just don't think he goes in there and dominates Blake Builder. And at some point, Blake Builder should end up on his back. And he's going to either steal rounds or he's going to find that submission, in my opinion. So I had to rock with him as an underdog.
I can't blame you. I almost put a little something on Blake Builder by sub, but ultimately did not. First fight of the night, Zubaira Tukhugov and Elvis Brenner. Zuby missed weight once again. The only play I got on this one is Tukhugov by decision, plus 100 for a half a unit. Didn't want to get too invested in this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. I just think he could wrestle. He could strike with him. He's a big favorite. Should get it done. I don't think he gets a finish, though. He's not really a potent finisher. So
right.
I'll sprinkle a little half unit on even money. So that's
Yeah,
my play.
I like it. I like it a lot.
You don't have anything on that one?
Couldn't get there with that price tag and
Can't blame you.
Elvis Brenner, and I don't know. I couldn't find anything I liked a lot. Or I couldn't find a ton of value on that fight, so we're just gonna kick it for the first one.
Yeah, almost went with Brenner by sub, but yeah,
He's got some on his resume.
I just don't like betting on a Russian to get subbed. You know, it just
Yeah,
doesn't really happen. So yeah,
exactly.
that's the plays. Thank you for watching. And if you're watching this after the fights, leave a like, a subscription, and a comment down below at the Double Leg on all the medias. And if you want to watch these type of videos in the future before the fights happen, join the Double Leg Premium. The link will be in the description down below. $19.99 per month, so less than $1 a day. You get everything that you need to know about every fight card. Detailed breakdowns like these, all of our bets, all the stats that we just were referring to. You get all the stats and money spreads throughout the week to help you make your bets. And if you just want to tailor our bets, makes it easier on you. So private Discord chat and all that. At Hajai Picks on the medias for me. Where can they find you?
On TikTok, you can find me at The Parlay, Instagram, The Parlay_media, and Twitter and YouTube, The Parlay MMA.
And lastly, if you're watching this and you are part of the premium or not, join the Facebook group. And the pot for the giveaway we do every week is at $60. You just got to hit a plus 500 play. That's as easy as it is. And if nobody does during the week, then it gets rolled over to the next week. So we're at $60 right now. It's totally free. Just hit the DM if you want in, or hit the link down below. Till then, the Double Leg. When we see you the next time, we'll have answers on the #1 pound-for-pound fighter. And if, I guess, yeah, we'll have answers on who the #1 pound-for-pound fighter is in the UFC. And hopefully we made some money. So Double Leg, signing off.